Hey, for Thief River Falls Radio, I'm Grant Nelson with another Community Grant, and we're with Cheryl Peters here. Tell us a little bit about what's turned out to be a really interesting project, Cheryl.
Well, my husband Jerome has always wanted a caboose. Whenever we see a caboose, oh gee, I wish I had a caboose. So there was actually one for sale on the auction in St. Hilaire. So we went to St. Hilaire and bought a caboose.
There's no wheels on this caboose,
No
and it's
wheels.
on concrete pillars,
Yep.
so it's not going down the tracks anytime soon.
Not anytime soon.
What's the plan for it?
Well, we're gonna make a bed and breakfast out of it. So,
A bed and breakfast in Viking. I like the sound of that.
you know, we have no hotel in Viking, so this is now the Viking Hotel, or will be, as soon as we're done. We're getting close.
Okay.
It's got bathroom, shower. This will be the bedroom that we're in now. There'll be a Murphy bed, because once you put a bed in here, there's not much room left. That's a sofa bed, so that'll pull out. We'll get some stools by the counter and put a little table in the kitchen. There's a little cooktop there. There'll be a fry pan for you and probably a couple eggs in the little fridge.
This was actually an older caboose. When I came out here, I thought we were probably going to see a 1950s, 1960s caboose. But we're actually talking about a little bit older caboose here.
Yeah, we had some railroad people come into the diner one day, some retired railroad guys that really knew their stuff, and they came over and looked it over real close, and their feeling was that it was probably a 40s, 40s caboose that was originally all wood.
Okay.
And then at some point they added the steel onto it. And it's heavy. We did some research and we think it's in the 40-ton range.
Yeah, and that would make sense because we were talking to Jerome earlier, and he said that the basis of this caboose is actually tongue and groove at 1.5 inch width. So, I mean, that's a tremendous amount of weight. And then we've got thick steel over the top. And right away when I came up here, I noticed the square bolts. I thought to myself, that's old. That's got to be old. So you start out with the caboose. You've got it here. You've got it on pillars. Tell us, I mean, we're in here right now, and this looks great. Tell us about some of the stuff you've done with this.
The first thing we had to do was get it to Viking. Well, it was already on a flatbed, so that wasn't too hard. But then we had to get it off the flatbed. So we found a guy that got it off the flatbed, but then it sat like next to where it is now for a good year before we got some concrete put down for it to sit on. It never had any wheels after we bought it, so we did a concrete pillars to set it on. And so that took about a year, and then we had to find somebody to get the caboose from the ground onto the pillars, which was a pretty good sized lift. And it took us probably another 6 months to a year to get somebody to put it on the pillars. Then we had to find somebody to start working on it, and all the carpenters were busy, so my nephew said he'd take on the project. So we got everything enclosed, and we started doing some metal work outside in the back here, and it caught fire. So then we had to have the Viking Fire Department come over, and so we had a little excitement there. So we ended up gutting it a little more than we planned, but we got all that done. And then slowly, it'll be a year in the fall since Russ started on it, but we're just about done now. And the deck was on before Good Old Days last year, so we used it as the stage for Good Old Days last year, and it will, for future Good Old Days, be the stage.
Okay.
The Woodpicks here last year for entertainment, and they were looking at the caboose, and of course it was pretty much a wreck at that point. We had the outside painted, but the inside didn't look so hot. And so I told them, I said, by next year, that'll be the green room. And they laughed at me. So I cannot wait to get them out here and show them the green room.
Yeah, because it's actually, not only is it a green room, but it's a seafoam green room.
It's a seafoam room. It's actually called apothecary, but yep, it's kind of a seafoam green, which is a color very close to the color that they used on caboose interiors. So my plan is to take some of those old interiors and print them off and hang them on the wall in here so people understand why it's seafoam green.
I love that. There's an emotion that drives this sort of thing. I mean, can you talk about that? Can you put that into words?
Well, you just like to see things in the hometown that make it a place you want to go. And certainly that's part of it. And some place where people walk in and go, wow, this is cool.
It is cool.
So that's kind of what we were shooting for, is some place that made Viking just that little more bit special.
I'm Grant Nelson for Community Grant and Thief River Falls Radio.